Okay guys, so I'm here to talk about something that I love talking about on the podcast, and you guys, if you listen to the podcast, should be very familiar with this. This is of course numbers. You guys know, and I've talked about multiple times, how I talk to certain people and analysts and kind of like to get info on what exactly goes on in Hollywood, because to me that is a fascinating aspect of how much money you invest into something and how much of a return you make and what it means for the people involved with. To me, that is just something more fascinating than almost anything involved in Hollywood. I don't know why. Even though I hate math, I love that aspect of it. So I love seeing sales figures and numbers. So this video might not be for everybody, but I do want to talk about that aspect of it. So obviously, if you're not into that, you might not be interested in this video, but I think it bears a lot of talking about, because this is kind of big. So obviously Captain America Civil War has been getting stellar reviews when it comes to, Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of critics just saying, yeah, this is a really good movie, possibly one of the best comic book movies, if not the best comic book movie out there. I obviously did my review, and I know people will ask, where is the spoiler-filled one? I'm sorry guys, but that is not coming out till the day the movie releases worldwide. I myself do not want to be solely responsible for spoiling everything, and there is a lot to talk about in this movie, and I don't want it being out there because of me, because I don't think that's fair. So sorry about that, but trust me, I don't want this spoiled for you guys. It is that good of a movie and has that great of moments. So when we talk about this, know that I'm not going to try to talk about spoilers or anything like that. I just want to talk about the actual expectations of this movie. So obviously, when we look at Captain America Civil War, you have to compare it to the other movie that came out, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the other movie specifically I want to talk about is Captain America the Winter Soldier. Now, the movie that came out before it obviously was just a solo Captain America movie, and it was the second one. And if you follow the trend that these movies have had, the first movie makes a good amount of money. The second one makes way more, as we've seen with Captain America the Winter Soldier. And when it comes to the third one, if we look at Iron Man 3, that is substantially better than Iron Man 2. So you have to take all that into account. And what they're saying right now is the most conservative, which means the safest bet is that this movie, Captain America Civil War, is going to make $760 million worldwide, guaranteed. Now, a lot of people are just saying, listen, it's going to make way more than that. And there's a few factors. One, you have all these Avengers, which is great, Two, you have Robert Downey Jr. back, and this is a story about friend versus friend. This is a personal story. That's going to drive people in there because they've seen these characters grow together. And the third thing we want to talk about is the reviews. Age of Ultron did fall in reviews compared to the first Avengers movie, and a lot of people were a little bit turned off by that and maybe didn't go see it. It also came out on a very bad weekend with a lot of stuff going on. But this one isn't really going to have a whole lot of competition in those terms, and it also does feature the star power, front and center, and it is a personal story. So when you're looking at it, a lot of people are saying, even though they're not projecting it to make $1 billion, there are analysts out there saying this is probably going to do $1.2 to $1.4 billion, which would be absolutely astronomical considering this is a Captain America movie, where the first one had a lukewarm reception and a just enough of a box office win that they were like, yeah, we can do a sequel, but we were kind of not making the biggest profit on that one. Obviously, when you look at The Winter Soldier, that one did a huge improvement in box office take, so they had more of a reason to greenlight a third one. And now that these characters are household names and pretty much have overtaken the competition in regards to sales, they'd be, foolish to even project low expectations on the third movie, which obviously some are, some aren't. So at the end of the day, when you realistically look at it, this movie is going to be probably one of the most profitable movies this year. Which brings us to the comparison, obviously, which people have been talking about, and it's also listed in all of these articles, which is the comparison to Batman v Superman. Now, BVS opened with a estimated 166 million, and the final number isn't finalized for like a couple of months down to the exact dollar, but we know it's 166 million point what? We don't really know. But when you look at it that way, they're guaranteeing it is going to open way bigger than that. Now, way bigger is considered $10 million or more, with some projecting it might open close to $190 million, and some saying it could open to 175. Either one would be a win because Marvel is not releasing this movie worldwide on the same day. DC was smart to be able to do that with Batman v Superman because that gets you a bigger number total for the weekend when you look at the whole, sum of everything. Marvel and Disney like to stagger the releases. They release in one territory, and then once the initial rush is out, they go, okay, we can adjust our marketing in the other territory according to what people reacted to. So if people in Europe see it first, which they will, and they all come out going, Spider-Man is amazing, then the American market can react to it by going, all right, put out those Spider-Man spots we are ready, because that'll push more people to see it, because that's what people are raving about, which is honestly a smarter strategy than releasing it all at once and pandering to a crowd that might not like the aspect of the characters and the trailers that you're showing in the first go. So that's constantly, the fight you do with the studios. So realistically, 180 million, I would say, is the optimism and probably the thing it's going to hit with Captain America 3. It should be noted, though, if the movie, for some reason, passes 200 million on opening weekend in the United States, it is going to be considered mind-boggling and probably one of the biggest wins in Marvel Studios / comic book history, as it will be Captain America taking out some of the biggest competition in comic book history. So we'll find out soon enough, but hopefully this video helped you guys understand why numbers are kind of cool when it comes to, looking at the future of Marvel and DC's and where their future earnings are going to take the franchises.